Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crafting and Crime Daily. I am your host, Rebecca, and I recap live trials so you have something to listen to while you're crafting, or just something to listen to while you're on the go, because this is available as a podcast on YouTube Music. So today we're going to talk about the border case, the Border Patrol case. This was George Allen Kelly is on trial for the murder of an immigrant that was trying to make his way into the U.S. to find the American dream. Or was he an immigrant? Was he a drug smuggler? And my camp, I'm in the drug smuggler camp, just going to say. So lucky for me, because I had dental surgery the other day. Oh my God, you guys. I go to the dentist. They have to pull 2 teeth because the crowns came off and they can't put another crown on it. So they pull the 1 tooth, no problem. 2 hours later, this poor little dentist, she was 5 foot nothing. She says, I can't get this thing out. And you're 2 hours into this. And yeah, I think I'm all bruised and everything. Yeah. Anyway, so she sends me over to the other side of town to a surgeon who cuts the gum, takes the tooth out, like 2 minutes. Then I get stitches. I'm like, oh. So I've been like a little out of it, la la land. So like I said, this case has been going incredibly slow. I don't know why. It's just, I think it's overkill on the prosecutor's part, but that's just me. So one of the people on the stand over the last few days was the reporting officer. He was the officer that responded the second time George Allen Kelly called the police that day. Now, this is back in January of 2023. George, that morning, he is, having his lunch. He hears a shot. He goes out. He sees a group of men in camouflage carrying weapons, and he fires some shots in the air. So he calls Border Patrol. Border Patrol comes out. The sheriff's office comes out. 6 officers, and they're canvassing his property. They don't find anything. They don't find anybody. They don't find anything. So George is out that evening, checking on his horse, because his horse got spooked during all of this commotion earlier in the day. He's out checking on his horse when his 2 Labrador, or were they labs? Black labs. Anyway, they alert on something. It's a dead body. Now, how is this not found by these officers who are patrolling this is a big question in my mind. How is this guy not found earlier by the 6 officers canvassing his property? In any case, they weren't. So when he calls the second time, the reporting officer comes out, and what George did was he put a flashlight where the dogs had alerted on the body, so he could go back and find it again, because he had to go back to his house, call the police. And when this officer gets there, he goes out to where the flashlight is. He said there was a body face down there. Looked like he had been shot through and through. No bullets were ever found on this scene. And he said that this person had on tactical boots, a small fanny pack. Now, he couldn't remember what the guy was wearing. How convenient. And he had a radio. Now, to me, that smacks of drug smuggler, too. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, drug smuggler. So, and here's what I think happened. The person that was with him that took the stand several days ago, I think when he got shot by whoever he got shot from, and it may not have been George Allen Kelly, could have been one of the other 5 men that were there. I think the guy that was with him took his AK-47, took the drugs that he was carrying, and left. Yeah, that's what I think. Just left him there to die. Yeah. In any case, the next person on the stand was the medical examiner. A young woman. I don't know that she's testified a whole lot because she seemed a little bit timid and a little bit intimidated by the attorneys. But nonetheless, the entire job of a medical examiner is to determine the cause and manner of death. So after examination of the body, she determined that the cause of death was a perforating gunshot wound to the trunk. So in other words, this is your trunk area, pretty wide. But she did elaborate and say that there was a huge aorta injury, that it was a large laceration of the aorta. So no bullet fragments found in the body. It went through and they never found the bullet, never found it. So they'd have nothing to tie this back to George Allen Kelly's gun. So she was asked, how long would he have survived with this wound? How long could he have survived? Could he have been walking and talking? She said, with this kind of wound, it would be anywhere from seconds to minutes. He could have been talking, could have been walking, but it would have killed him very quickly. Yeah, just saying. So then we have Wanda Kelly. Wanda was a piece of work, man. She's a no-nonsense woman. So she talks, she gets on the stand, and I'm surprised the prosecutor called her, but she did. She has been married to George for 53 and a half years. I can't imagine spending 53 years with anybody. Wow. I need some coffee for that. 53 years. Cheers. So she goes through their history, how they were born and raised in North Carolina, went to school together, high school sweethearts, went to college, got married after college, moved to Montana. They started, not right away, but they did start a fishing guide place anyway. But she didn't like the cold, so eventually, her dream had always been to move to Arizona. So they moved to Arizona. And this was not the first place that they bought. They bought another place first, and then they ended up with this ranch that they're on now, where they've been for many, many years. She said they have a few cattle and a horse. One horse named Red, and he's adorable, this horse. So not a lot of cattle, 2, 3, not a lot of cattle. And a cat. They have a cat. The cat's hers, obviously. The dogs, right now they have, how many did she say they have? 6? But or 4. But in 2023, when this occurred, they had 2. And they follow him around everywhere they go. Everywhere he goes, they follow him. And they're very inquisitive dogs. Thus, they found the body. So she talked about the day that this happened. But even before we get there, I had to, I am going to show some clips of her. But when you see these clips, look at her cheek underneath her glasses. She's got one heck of a bruise. I'd love to know how she got that bruise. Mm-hmm. Is Mr. Allen Kelly feeling the stress of this trial and taking out it on it? I don't know. Maybe she fell. Maybe she hit a doorknob. But how do you get a bruise right here? I don't know. Maybe she went to the dentist. Who knows? In any case, she did say that her husband has been known to, he patrols the property on a routine basis with his AK-47 and his handgun. And his usual practices when he comes in, looks like it's going to fall here. When he comes in, he puts it, there's like a little thing next to the door that he can put it in. He puts it right there. So it's always handy right at the door. So on January 30th of 2023, she says, this is a normal day. I'm cleaning up after breakfast. I'm doing laundry. I just finished my lunch. The TV was on, medium volume, nothing. And then after that, I had gone into the living room and I was playing with the cat. And George comes in, and he goes into the kitchen, and he is making himself a sandwich. This sandwich, peanut butter, mayonnaise, and pineapple. What? Okay. Plays no part in this trial, but just gross. I don't know. Would you eat that? Let me know in the comments. Would you eat that? I'm gonna pass. Yeah, that's a hard pass for me. Now I would eat peanut butter, mayonnaise, and banana, but not pineapple. No. Okay, so she's going about her day. He comes in. They have an island in the kitchen, but he's not at the island. He's at this. They have what I always called a pass through. I had a house that was like that. It's like a wall that has this large cutout, and you can pass things through to the dining room. And there's a countertop there. So he's standing at this countertop eating his peanut butter and pineapple sandwich when he hears a gunshot. And he tells her, I just heard a gunshot. And he tells her, be quiet. And he grabs his AK-47 and his handgun, and he goes out there. When he tells her to be quiet, now she's out in the living room playing with the cat. There's 2 windows out in the living room. She goes to the window on the left, and she looks out, and she says, I see 2 men in camouflage, carrying very large backpacks and rifles. So she said they were wearing camouflage, and they were walking not towards the house, but parallel to the house. So she calls the border patrol, and then she hands the phone to her husband. Then he goes outside carrying she calls it his AK. He goes outside, he's carrying his AK. Then she hears 5 or 6 gunshots. And then she assumed he was shooting in the air, because she said he's done that in the past, to scare these people off. He just shoots in the air. Apparently, this is not the first time this has happened. There's not their first rodeo. These people come through their property all the time. He goes out and he fires warning shots in the air. So literally, this woman's on the stand for like 2.5 hours with the prosecutor before the end of the day. They never finished. We never got to the cross-examination of this wife. But this prosecutor was trying to impeach her on how many men she saw. Are you sure it was 2? Are you sure you didn't tell somebody else it was 5? And so everybody that you told it was 5, they're lying. And I'm like, oh my God, she went on and on and on about it. And then she tries to impeach her with, well, are you sure it was 5 or 6 gunshots, or wasn't 4, it wasn't 7, what, and she's going on and on and on about it. Like, I told the judge was like, move on. Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. And finally, this woman got really frustrated. Here's what she said to the prosecutor. Take a listen.
You told Deputy Monreal that you heard 4 shots.
I'm objecting. She answered. You can answer.
I was not counting. My husband was out there facing these guys with guns. And you think I'm going to stand there and count how many times I hear a shot? You're crazy.
Ms. Kelly, I'm just asking you if that's what you told him.
I did not tell him 4. I told him I saw 2. That's all I saw.
We're talking about the shots now.
Now the shots. Well, I did say maybe 5 or 6 later, but I don't know.
Isn't it true, Mrs. Kelly, that you told Deputy Monreal that you believed it was 4 shots?
I don't remember talking to that deputy, so I don't remember telling him 4 shots.
So you disagree with his report?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'm objecting. She said she didn't know and remember talking to him, so she can't testify to him.
And you said that you couldn't tell them apart. You couldn't tell them apart. Is that right?
Couldn't tell what apart.
The deputy.
No, I could not, except that one was a lady.
So you don't know which ones you spoke to, or
No,
if you
I do
spoke to
not.
the same, different ones?
I don't know if I spoke to same ones, different ones. The only two I remember is Detective Inza and Barbara.
But you spoke to the deputies that day, right?
I don't know. I can't remember.
She was not playing. She was like, "Are you crazy? I am not counting gunshots. I'm worried about my husband." Yeah. I hope this trial turns out the way I think it should. I mean, my goodness, this is crazy. So I want to give you an update on what's going on in the Chad Daybell case. And I don't want to do it in a separate video, but they have spent Monday through Thursday picking a jury. So what the judge said that he was going to do and what he has done is he wanted to get the jury pool down to 50 people. And then he was going to he's bringing them in groups of 16 and 17. And then they do their questioning. They've already had a questionnaire at home. They filled out their questionnaire at home. And the ones that didn't get dismissed are brought in groups of 16. So they go through this group of 16, they question them, and then out of that 16, whoever has not been dismissed for cause, in other words, for cause would be, this is going to be a financial hardship on you, or I have no one to watch my triplets, or whatever, if it's if there's good cause, I'm going through chemotherapy, I can't sit through an 8-week trial. So if there's good cause, then you get dismissed. So out of the 16, the ones that were not dismissed for cause are put into that pool of 50. So that went on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So by Thursday, they had 52. He said he was only going to do 50, but he wanted to go ahead and complete that last group. So out of that last group, he ended up with 52. So what they had to do after court ended on Thursday was get on the phone, call all these potential jurors back, all 52 of them, and tell them you need to be in the courtroom tomorrow at 8:30. And then what they will do is what they call preemptory challenges. And that's where each side gets a number of challenges. In other words, they don't have to have a reason for dismissal. Now, we've already removed everybody that had a cause not to be on this jury. But now there might be certain people that, the jury that the defense didn't like, and certain people that the prosecution didn't like. And for no reason, they could just get rid of them. Now, if it's a Black person or, they have to articulate a non-racial based reason why they're getting rid of this person, if they're challenged by the other side. So they did the same thing in the Lori Vallow case, and it took them, they did this whole process, the preemptory challenges very, very quickly. I think they were done by 10:30, 10:45 in the Vallow case. So after they get that down to, I don't know if it's going to be 14 or 16, they need 12 jurors, and then they need alternates. So once they get down to, I'm guessing 16, that'll be the jury. And then he will swear them in, the judge, and he will have them come back on Monday for opening statements. So starting Monday morning for the next 8 weeks, we're going to be talking about Chad Daybell. He has been charged with the murder of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. They are the children of Lori Vallow. Now, Lori Vallow has already been convicted of conspiracy to murder those children. So he's on trial as well for the murder of those children. They were found in shallow graves on his property. He is also charged with the murder of his wife, Tammy Daybell. Right now, he's married to Lori Vallow Daybell, because right after Tammy died of natural causes in her sleep, he runs off to Hawaii and marries Lori Vallow Daybell. So Tammy Daybell, they exhumed her body and figured out that she had been murdered. It was not natural causes. So she has already been convicted of that murder. Now he is on trial for the 2 murders of the children and the murder of his ex-wife. And it's going to be a good long trial. Now, this is a trial where, he says he's a prophet, she's a prophet, they met in another life. Like it goes, we're going to go borderline crazy on this one. Yeah. Yeah. Just really out there cultish stuff in this case. So it's going to be entertaining to say the least. So that is the show for today. I know it's not long, but I'm still on pain medication. So I will follow along on this Border Patrol case. I know the wife is going to continue to be on the stand this morning. I'm interested to hear her cross-examination and see what the defense brings out. So have a great day, everybody. Please leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Hit all. You don't want to miss a single episode of Crafting and Crime Daily. Bye, everybody.